104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning, all y'all. It is the Chris and Amy Show, and it is a great day to have you with us and for us to be with you. 314-436-7900. You can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. We are at Chris Amy KMOX. You can see us live. You can see us with Hancock and Kelly. You can leave us voice messages from the Odyssey app. Download that app, baby. You know why?
Why?
Because you can listen to Cardinals baseball today, too. Free. Wow. If you're here in the listening area, Cardinals play a day game. We'll tell you all about it in a moment.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, we brought it up during the show yesterday, but it seems like everybody in St. Louis heard the comments made by Mets broadcasters 2 days ago about the city of St. Louis and how dead downtown is. We've got some thoughts on that coming up here in a moment.
And President Trump fired U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Another one.
Bites the dust.
I only pick the best people.
The Cardinals will play again today. It is an early game. They are on the road for the first time in 2026. They play the Tigers in Detroit. 12:10 is the first pitch this afternoon. We will have the pregame show on KMOX at 11:15.
But there's never anybody walking around in downtown St. Louis.
Not very often, you're right.
It's like, remember the old neutron bomb that wouldn't knock down buildings but just would eliminate all the people? It's like one of those hit St. Louis.
First of all, neutron bomb. How old is this guy? What are you, 100?
That's back from that was the 70s. That was during the Jimmy Carter era.
That should be the only response is we retweet that clip and just say, how old are you? 100?
Hey, remember consumption?
We're bringing it back.
We're bringing it back, baby. Well, actually, we are, I think, and measles. Hancock and Kelly are with us for the first hour of the show today, and that was from the Mets television broadcast a couple of days ago, finale of the series. Cardinals took 2 of 3 from the Mets, by the way.
We did.
And there was they had showed video of downtown St. Louis from Keener Plaza. You know, there's the fountain there, and then the courthouse in the background.
Lovely
and the
view.
arch. It's a really nice view, and that's exactly what they were saying, is that it's a pretty cool visual, but then there are no people. And then they say, well, there's a car going by. And so Amy and I talked about this yesterday, and I know talk shows around the city are all over it, and people have written about it because it really resonated with a lot of folks here. And there were all kinds of reactions. There was annoyance. There was defensiveness.
Mm-hmm.
There was anger at those guys. Then there was, like, I think for some people, the realization that, yeah, maybe they have a point, too.
Yeah, mad that they said it, mad that it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, those were my feelings because we know it's true, but it also felt like unnecessary that they were punching down. You're New York and you want to punch down on St. Louis, and they weren't surprised by it because the words they used were every time. It's always like this. So they know it's going to look like this. So if a city's down and out, maybe don't go after them in your broadcast. But I mean, they're not wrong. Just we say it, not them.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it at all. I mean, it's just an observation, and it's the same observation that each of the 5 of us have made, over the last several years.
Yeah, but if someone said something rude about your kid, you can say rude things about your kid. But if someone else did, it feels different. The same thing with my siblings.
Maybe it would be realization that your kid's got some issues. And I wish we would take the energy that spun everybody up. I listened to the Glover show the other day. I understand that they were exercised about it. And I was just like, yes, none of this is new to us. We've all been saying it. And what have we done to solve it as a region? What have we done to solve this problem as a city? I would argue to you, not much. And so I think it may not be helpful for our individual psychology, but maybe it would be helpful for us all to wake up and realize, yeah, this is a problem.
You know, it should be noted that on the broadcast, it was Gary Cohen, who's been a long time Mets broadcaster. Mm-hmm. His partner, who was also in that clip, Todd Zeal, the former Cardinals catcher, and he is part of the Mets broadcast team too. Keith Hernandez is actually part of that team, and I think he's been out for a few games for some reason. But, that's somebody who does have some familiarity with St. Louis, who's part of the broadcast talking about it. And, I hear you, Michael, and you're right. We as a region have not done enough. And, we reached out to the mayor's office today trying to, see if she would be willing to give us some thoughts on her thoughts on what that is. Her spokesperson said, no, thank you. What were the exact words in the text message?
I said, I appreciate the offer, but no thanks.
Okay. And again, it is not, I would prefer that she would have something to say about it.
Mayor Q in Kansas City did.
Yes. And they sent us this. It is Quentin Lucas from Kansas City, who was the mayor there. And he says, I know there's no city more dunked on internally and externally than St. Louis, but I was downtown last week for a meeting, lunch, and dinner. Crowded at night with a Blues game, full spots on Wash Ave, lunch hour, pedestrian traffic. It doesn't have NYC pedestrian activity, but few do. And yes, he's right, but also he kind of brings up a point that we were talking about and have forever, that yes, it's busy downtown, but only when there's an event, only when the Cardinals play, only when the Blues play, only when there's a concert.
Everything they said was right. But let's say the Cardinals had a game, or maybe I'm down there with a minor league team and they're playing in Mississippi. We're in the 5th inning. We're just talking about the game. And I go, Ranch, Mississippi is the poorest state in the United States. They also have the poorest health outcomes, and their infrastructure is crumbling.
So is their education.
Mississippi is really struggling. High obesity rates. It's actually, every time I come down here, I'm shocked by how the infrastructure is crumbling. It's all true. It's unnecessary.
I guess. But I was just out before the show here, and there were 8 people standing in front of the U.S. Bank down there.
Do they live in front of the U.S. Bank, John?
Well, they're waiting for it to open, I think. The 8 of them. I counted.
Is there a run on the banks today?
Something going on.
Well, I didn't think the banks are even open today because it's Good Friday. I know the markets aren't open.
Well, I think the banks are open.
Maybe that's why they were standing in line still.
Yeah, just waiting.
I don't know, guys. It didn't bend me out of shape. I think it's a reality of where we're at. If I were in their spot, I might have made the same observation, in the sense that they just showed some beautiful skylines of St. Louis. And by the way, every sporting event in every city, that's what happens. These guys, for about a minute, made an observation of their experience on day 3 in downtown St. Louis. It's spot on. I think it makes all of us mad because it's a bunch of New Yorkers, some pond scum down here saying what they think of us. But I would hope we would take it as more of a reflection moment, figure some stuff out. And other cities have the same issue. And I'm sure that observation can be made in other places as well.
I think that is one reason we'd want to talk to the mayor, not only because...
And by the way, this is not her fault, because this has been going on for decades.
Has been going on. No.
Right.
But you have a statement and maybe you say something like, it is a good reminder of how far we have to come, or it's a good reminder that you want your city to be spoken well of by other cities across the country. And what is your city like when there's not an event? Because when you look at the feedback from March Madness, from the World Skating or the U.S. Skating Championships, all the feedback was great, but there were also events.
Yeah. And, look, there's stuff to do in the city, and there's a lack of people to enjoy it. And that's a bad stew. And ultimately, the answer for the community health is having more people actually reside in the city.
But do you think there's stuff to do? Because I for a long time, would have been the prime resident for the city of St. Louis, young, not anymore, but I was, young, single, working downtown. But I mean, the Starbucks in Ballpark Village closed, which is a bummer. The coffee shop that was in this building moved to Midtown, and I feel like there's not a lot to do, like places to walk around where I could walk to restaurants and stores. I can't really.
Well, I wouldn't use I know you're right. I wouldn't use Starbucks as an example. That place was packed all the time. So there's probably something else going on there. There is still a coffee shop in that area. But generally speaking, the downtown area, it is there. Here's a business, several vacant businesses, and then another one. I think if you're, depending on where you are, there just isn't a whole lot happening.
No, there's not. And listen, and this is a person, me, Michael Kelly specifically, has invested his entire life in this city. I live in the city of St. Louis. I lived downtown for 20 years. I have my business here in downtown St. Louis. I have employees who come down here. There is not anything to do. There's a lot of people to write parking tickets for people who aren't around. But, outside of the city museum and maybe one or two restaurants occasionally that are open on Washington Avenue, and if there's something going on at the ballpark, it works. But, it's just the sad reality of where we're at. What's hard for me is when I moved downtown, I can remember it was 2004. It was at the same time we hosted the NCAA Final Four here. There was energy and momentum behind downtown. I remember going on art walks. I remember the activity. I never felt nervous about walking from 20th and Washington all the way to the ballpark. And I have to tell you, about 6 years ago, I made the departure from downtown St. Louis because I felt like I was a lone soldier. There wasn't much to do. I had to get in my car to go get some of the basic essentials that when I lived in Central West End now or in Clayton, I could do by literally walking out of my door.
And there are, I would say, a lot of people in the city who are trying and want it to be better and want and want to, be a cheerleader for the city. There are a lot of those folks who are really, really trying. It's just that, to me, the tide is against them considerably, and it will take something massive to happen to change the situation. One of them is for the county and the city to merge. It's just that has to happen. And there was a Bengals reporter, Cincinnati Bengals reporter, who covers the Bengals for ESPN, and he says he had tweeted that he was in town a couple of weeks ago, and he was responding to the Mets broadcasters and what they said about us. And he pretty much echoed that, what they said. And then somebody responded to him on Twitter and said, it's a lovely city at a severe structural disadvantage being untied from the county. They are completely separate lands. I believe the only city like that in the country. And his response is, that's what I kept hearing, a very dumb setup that clearly isn't working. And that's somebody from the outside saying it. There are those of us in the city screaming it. That it's a very stupid setup, it was done 150 years ago. We need to undo it.
And it is self-evident that it's not working. And then, on top of all of that, the one plan that Sam Page articulated was simply putting St. Louis City as another municipality in St. Louis County. And the setup of the government in the city with this three-headed monster, the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, you would never create a city and govern it that way. So I think the better choice is to have a unified government, St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to half-ass this.
Right.
With make the city part of the county. Forget
St. Louis, Missouri.
Yes.
And we're the 20th or 21st largest city in the country at that point. And our crime statistics are no longer stick out like they do now. And the efficiencies of governing would save everybody a lot of money. It is self-evident.
And people in the county can have a say instead of just shouting from the outside.
And I hope it happens, guys. And pardon me if I feel beat down, but John and I were a major part of that effort of Better Together, which I think was 99% right. In the 80s, there was another effort to be able to do this. It seems like nearly every decade we've had this conversation in St. Louis, and I don't think it's going to work. And it's not going to get fixed till the people who live west of Skinker realize that their life is dependent on what's happening in this city.
It's going to happen.
And the continued diminishment, I would argue, has diminished their existence, whether they believe it or not.
It's going to happen.
When we come back, we've got Hancock and Kelly, but Rahm Emanuel made some interesting comments about Democrats losing the plot. So I want to ask you guys about that. And actually, Mississippi comes into play because I was bashing Mississippi, but one area where they are excelling is reading. And it's really interesting that they have actually lapped California in reading at this point. It's Hancock and Kelly on the Chris and Amy show on KMOX.
And you know what? Things are really heating up right now in the basketball tournament. And FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up to the big championship game, which is on Monday. Build a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout, or you can try live betting. You can jump in after the tip-off has already happened. Best of all, with FanDuel, you're going to get paid instantly when you win. FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. If you've been thinking about trying it out, the interface is really intuitive. It's easy to use. FanDuel.com/Missouri to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going from now till the championship. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Looking for something smart, soulful, and full of heart? I'm Jen Hatmaker, host of For the Love, the podcast where we talk about what really matters: love and family, faith and purpose. Every week, I'm joined by incredible guests for honest conversations that invite all of us to live with more intention, more laughter, and more connection. Join us on For the Love wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan, or thepeople.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenagers gaming won't crash their video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Since 1898, we've been building homes in St. Louis with the same commitment to quality craftsmanship, prime locations, and personalized service. And now we're celebrating 128 years with our 1898 sale. For a limited time, save $18,980 plus receive $10,000 to $15,000 in cash at closing on all to-be-built homes. Visit McKelveyHomes.com to learn more. Isn't it time to move up to McKelvey Homes?
100 years, one legendary voice. Relive KMOX's century of service, classic audio, photos, videos, and more at KMOX100.com.
Hancock and Kelly sitting in with us as they do every Friday. Okay, so as I was bringing up the Mets who were bashing St. Louis, so I said it would be rude for me to bash Mississippi, and I brought up some of the areas where they struggle with health and their poverty rates and so forth. But I've actually had this on as something I've wanted to talk about for a while. They're calling it the Mississippi Miracle. Basically, in 2013, they said, wow, no one can read. Let's do something radical and return to phonics. As simple as that. And right now, Mississippi, the poorest state in the United States, is lapping California in fourth grade reading scores. They went from the bottom of the country, Mississippi, in fourth grade reading to top 10 now, just by going back to phonics.
Well, that's the whole MI, crooked letter I. Crooked letter, crooked letter I, humpback, I. That's how you learn to read.
I feel like I know less how to read now. I've lost some literacy.
I have no idea.
That's how you spell Mississippi. You guys don't know about that?
Oh.
M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback, I. There it is.
Speaking of Mississippi, have you met my friend from the Ozarks?
At any rate.
Just thought I'd throw that in.
Well,
wait till he teaches you how he does addition.
Stops at 10.
That's
As
right.
many fingers as I have. That's it.
I'm good at math. I don't
Are
like
you?
to. I don't like to talk. Yeah.
Well, Rahm Emanuel was recently talking.
Love that guy, Rahm.
in the Obama administration and the Clinton administration as well. So kind of old school in a lot of ways, old school Democrat. And he said, and has gained a lot of attention for saying that Democrats have lost the plot.
We lost the plot. We as Democrats nationally, from Latinx to defunding the police to police organizations are all racist to bringing a set of cultural wars to our schools. We are on the losing side of those cultural wars. Full stop. You are worried about bathroom access and locker room access. Why don't you focus on classroom excellence? You have 50% of our kids not reading at grade level.
Well, they can just say we can do both.
You've proven you can't because you've permitted a 30-year low in reading and math scores, and nobody seems to be calling the whistle on this.
He also goes on that clip is a bit longer, and he brings up Title IX. And obviously with some of the issues with sports and biological men and women's sports, he's saying one of the great accomplishments, not just in United States history, but specifically Democrats in the history of the Democratic Party was Title IX, and how Democrats are now throwing it out the window. And he's like, why would you throw Title IX out the window? And that is something we worked so hard to accomplish. So just wanted to get your thoughts on what Rahm Emanuel said.
I love him. And I think he's obviously he couldn't get elected in my party right now. I think he's potentially one of the candidates that wants to run for president.
Yes.
I hope he does, but I don't think there's a house for him right now inside my party because he's speaking the truth. And we're afraid of stepping on each other's toes. I mean, I think he's spot on with what he's saying. I would sub in the word Democrats with progressives because I think that's ultimately what's going on inside the Democratic Party. I think there are traditional Democrats who now call themselves independents or maybe even Republicans that have been run out of a party that's run after them with a ruler to tell them how they're supposed to behave and what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, he's Rahm Emanuel is center left. And there used to be a place in this country for the center left. And there used to be a place in the country for the center right, which is kind of where I am. But those folks don't generally win primaries. And so, you know, if Emanuel runs for president, I mean, he'll have that center left lane. I think Governor Shapiro from Pennsylvania would have that. Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky, may have that lane. But you've got J.B. Pritzker, AOC, who knows, that's going to stake out the progressive lane. And I got to give them an advantage, an edge.
I don't know that the party is that left. I just don't know that I agree with that. It keeps being said over and over again, but I don't know if that's the actual reality because the extreme left wing of the party does not dominate the conversation. It doesn't dominate policy. They're there and they have voices, but they are oftentimes reeled in or not taken seriously, unlike the other side, where the extreme right is kind of leading the charge.
Maybe. All right. I'm going to try to push back at that because I think if you go to most cities where Democrats reside, it's the exact opposite. I mean, you go over to this board of aldermen, we're not tackling basic kitchen table issues. They spend a lot of time on a lot of the things that Rahm Emanuel talked about. They've got policy on Gaza. They got policy on Israel. They got roads that you can't drive on. And I think that's what he's talking about.
Because the mayor's
I think if you go to most, but I think if you go to most cities, this is what's happening. And not that it's bad, maybe not that these aren't issues that should be tackled. Now, I'm with you. I think the Republican Party's out there on wacky right-wing stuff, but it's real issues that real people are dealing with. When you're talking about schools or you're talking about your kid potentially being in a locker room with a guy or whatever, all that, it doesn't really exist from my perception, but it's something that resonates with people.
It does resonate. You're right.
Yes.
Republicans, to me, are the ones who talked about the bathroom stuff over and over and over again to say, look what they're doing over there. Look what
they're trying to recycle it now.
I would push back against you, Ranj, in the sense that, like we say, it sounds like we agree a lot because President Trump sucks all the air out of the room. He sucks all the oxygen out of the room. And there's not time to talk about other things because he is the president, because it is the party in power. And on a national scale, it's all Republicans, and it is insane. But as a conservative, I do get some concerned because I love New York. I love San Francisco. I love our cities. They help make America great. Zoran Mamdani he's a communist. I mean, he's very, very progressive. And the San Francisco, you see these sanctuary cities. Well, his head of housing doesn't believe you should own private property.
Well, we're talking about him.
But,
he is,
and the people in charge.
But if you listen to anybody in New York, they're saying he's getting the little stuff done. The potholes.
I was going to say, I think he's the unique exception, Amy, and I get that he's I don't even know his name, but every Republican can tell it to me because Fox News is drilling it into their head.
I don't watch Fox News. I mean,
I don't mean
me.
That, but what I'm suggesting is when you go to New York and you read basically what he's doing, he is getting the basics done.
Yes, he is.
And I don't think that's the case in most of these cities where progressives have taken over. They're on this zealot-like crusade to make the perfect and allowing the job to get past them.
Utopian socialist.
Yeah, so I'm a conservative, so I'm not ever going to agree with utopian socialist ideologies. But also, like I said, what bothers me is even like the sanctuary status of cities where in New York you have violent criminals who are illegal immigrants, but they are a sanctuary city, so they can ignore thousands of ICE detainers. That's a big deal. That's also not what the American people want. And that drives people to the other side. And because there are only, it feels like two extreme sides, we're in crazy town.
Yeah, and increasingly bouncing back and forth between the extremes.
Well, and I think that's one of the questions that you and I find ourselves in, John, is there a place for a traditional Democrat and a traditional Republican anymore right now in American politics? And I mean, that's essentially you and I, and it's a hard place to swim these days, is it not?
I can't swim.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew it. Hancock and Kelly with us on this Friday morning. It's a short day today for us because at 11:15 it is the Cardinals pregame show. It is their first road game of the season. They'll play in Detroit against the Tigers at 12:10. That's coming up on the Chris and Amy show, and then 104.1 FM KMOX.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
This is going to be a likable team. I don't know how many games you're going to win. You're down 7-1, and at that point, they weren't deflated. They weren't demoralized. They're like, all right, good for you guys. You hit us in the mouth. You drew blood. We just tasted our own blood. Now we're going to knock you on your ass. Let's go.
Bernie Miklasz. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. And for a limited time this April, we're offering something we rarely do. Exclusive incentives designed to help you get more from your new home. From a free finished recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades to flexible perks like design credits or closing cost savings, there's an opportunity waiting for you. But these offers are available in select communities and only for a short time. Visit LombardoHomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin.
Curative, that's a complex decision that involves what we call multidisciplinary care. So that involves a surgeon, a medical oncologist, radiation oncologist. So you need the expertise, and that's something that we have here at Siteman, especially geared for these esophageal cancer patients.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. Visit siteman.washu.edu.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
72 degrees right now. Clouds, maybe a stray thunderstorm here or there. Very warm, breezy. We are expecting severe weather tonight with heavy thunderstorms late. Storms could bring flooding downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts, and an isolated tornado. So watch out for that. A low tonight of 55.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX until the Cardinals pregame show at 11:15 today. They will be on the road. They are already on the road getting ready for baseball against the Tigers. We've got Hancock and Kelly with us, and the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is no more. Well, she still exists, but she is no longer the Attorney General as the president has parted ways with her. What are your thoughts on this? Because it's another person in the cabinet that's out.
She has met the fate that anybody who goes to work with Donald Trump will ultimately make. I mean, go tell me anybody who came from the first administration whose career is continuing to this point.
Sarah Huckabee.
Right. Okay. There's one person, but she was the spokesman, right? She was essentially Kathleen Levitt or whatever the rude lady is that's the press spokesman. But I mean,
other than that,
yeah,
right.
I mean, and every one of these people, Pete Hegseth, everyone, they will all meet the same fate. I don't know why anybody goes to work for this president.
You hate to see Blondie go.
Pam Bondi?
There she was.
Oh,
Pam
right.
Bondi. She was the Attorney General. Now we got the acting Attorney General, the guy that was Trump's lawyer. I can't think of his name right now. Todd Blanche. Yeah, I mean, this was predictable. She was supposed to testify, maybe still will, later this month before the House Oversight Committee. And
depends on where the market's at.
You know, there were rumors floating around D.C. that she tipped off of Eric Swalwell that there was an investigation going on about him, and that could have been the final straw. But you know, I don't think the president appreciates the way she handled the whole Epstein matter. And yeah, she's gone.
Do you know, we keep hearing that this is or not just hearing, but we're observing that this is the easiest president to manipulate. And he has said the quiet part out loud, that he loves flattery and you can be a terrible person. And as long as you're nice to him, he'll fight to the death for you. That part's a lie. Because what I've realized, I kept thinking, if it's so easy to manipulate him and all you have to do is sell your soul and kiss the ring day after day after day, why does everyone ultimately get sacrificed? And I think that's just it, is that he uses you until you're no longer useful to him in the way that he wants you to be, no matter how much you pander, no matter if you've sold your soul. So when you sign up to sell your soul to Trump, you're not signing up to sell your soul so that you have success. You're signing up to sell your soul. And the ultimate act of fealty is to sacrifice yourself, because when you sign up for him, you know he's going to fire you or end your career some other way.
Because the man will never take responsibility or blame for anything, on anything. And so whenever it's going to ultimately reflect bad on him, he's going to push it off on somebody else, somebody who used to be one of the best people, because that's all he chooses. And I think Pete Hegseth, who I would argue is executing exactly what the president wants and what his mission is, and as this war continues to languish and go on, he will ultimately be the one that Donald Trump says, low IQ, shouldn't have had him, such a loser. And that's what's going to happen. Right? You all know this is the case.
Yeah, no, that's right. And, in this case, once you become perceived to be harmful to himself, Donald Trump has no further use for you. And he saw Pam Bondi as somebody that was not helping his cause, and so she got to go.
What do you think of this? There is some polling done by CNN.
Yeah.
And it was in regard to people who consider themselves to be angry at both parties. So these are people who don't like the Democratic Party or the Republican Party right now, holding a negative view of them. And so they call them double haters.
Right.
Is that really the term they use?
Yeah,
double haters. So this new polling suggests that voters in that group prefer Democrats in the upcoming midterms by 31 points.
Yeah.
Is that typical, atypical?
Atypical.
It is atypical for because there's always flip-flopping when the midterms come around, right?
Yeah. Double haters is an interesting group to study in elections. And I've not done it in association with the party identification before. It's usually in relation to the two candidates. People that have an unfavorable opinion of both candidates, which by the time election day comes around, that's usually the case for a lot of people. That's a pretty big chasm. Typically, you don't see it like that. I think all of the polling that I've seen portends just going to be a utter disaster for the GOP.
Hey, now.
Furthermore, in the polling, 28% of Americans hold a favorable view of the Democratic Party.
Yep.
The Republican Party has 32% favorability. The explanation is that Republicans take a more positive view of their own party than Democrats do of theirs.
Yeah.
So some of the 28%, or the reason it's so low, is because Democrats don't even like their own party right now.
Well, we're going to win by default. And we haven't had a movement person that's changed. I mean, if you go back to when Bill Clinton came, he started a movement. He brought a new style Democrat. He gave energy, focus, vision. Barack Obama did the same thing. That person has not emerged inside the Democratic Party. I'm not thrilled with Chuck Schumer. I don't think Hakeem Jeffries is the solution to what we're dealing with here. But somebody eventually will emerge. I hope it's a Democrat before a Republican that will help to bring momentum and give a vision and help recast what the Democratic Party ought to look like.
Is Schumer as out of touch as it seems?
Yes.
He's just, that dude. He's just like,
well, I mean,
it's almost laughable.
It is very hard to spend decades of your life in an institution like the U.S. Senate and not be disengaged from how regular folks live. I mean, it's just hard to do.
It's human
and
nature.
He's not the only one, but
right.
He's the most prominent guy in the party.
But I mean, they exist on all sides. I mean, Lindsey Graham, you can just go down the list. But I do think eventually there will be a transformative figure that will emerge inside the Democratic Party that will give it a brand that will cause it to have vision to move forward. Right now, we're going to win by default. Everybody hates the team that's in charge. We're going to win. And so there's going to be some responsibility that comes from that. But ultimately, what has to come from it is a transformative figure, a person with vision.
Yeah, I think the last 30 years has had more flip-flops in the majority in Congress than any 30-year period in American history. And I think that's indicative of the fact that we kind of go, oh, that didn't work. Let's go the other way. And, oh, that was bad.
That's always a fascinating reality in politics, that there are so many people who are like, I don't like this. Okay, I don't like this now either. And they just keep going back and forth.
Yeah, and
how do you not have some sort of...
So there's that. There's the flip-floppy voter. But the other thing that affects these things are passion and turnout. So when one side has energy, Democrats have passion and energy going into this election, and then the other side doesn't, and you get just a small little shift in who shows up to vote. And now all of a sudden, instead of there being 26 competitive congressional seats in the country, that number becomes 55, 50. And that's what we might see, something on that level in this midterm election.
Is this SAVE Act, does it have any life at all? Real life?
It doesn't get through the Senate.
Yeah, okay. That's John Hancock and Michael Kelly, Amy Marks Kors, and Chris Ranji with you until 11. Well, these guys aren't. They're out in a few more moments.
Well, we're going to try to have fun next, I think.
I can't guarantee it, but we'll try.
I know. I had a serious question, but I think I'm going to stuff it in the pocket.
Yeah, why don't you stuff it?
I've got a fun observation.
We'll get to that.
Can't wait to hear this when we come back on KMOX.
In 1991, John and Cindy Morelli started Morelli Tuck Pointing. As of today, they've won just about every award possible for the tuck pointing business. The BBB Torch Award, the Next Door Neighborhood Fave Award, and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. For homeowners, this is a great time to get a free inspection of your basement, your brick or stone fireplace, your garage interior, your porch, and maybe even your walkway. Indoor tuck pointing can be started now. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. My wife Beth and I have used Morelli Tuck Pointing to work on 2 of our homes now over the last 25 years. We have found the Morelli bids to be fair. Their crews are very polite and they clean up after themselves. But most importantly, their work is beautiful. Family owned and operated since 1991. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Calling all runners. Register now for the Cardinals 5K on Saturday, April 18th, and you can take a victory lap on the field at Busch Stadium. Don't miss this chance to bring the whole family for a fun St. Louis 5K race that brings fans together to support kids in the community. The Cardinals 5K, Saturday, April 18th. Register now at cardinals.com/5K. And for more information, just head to KMOX.com/events.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price as 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. One day, you're under a thunderstorm warning. The next,
oh boy, it's snowing.
Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. Sponsored by
Celica Heating and Cooling.
Okay, I have some really good news. Well, we do have the 0% a lot. We do have it on our regular products because you will be unbelievably shocked, especially if you call me and I'll give you the straight up scoop on how much money you can actually save by if you spent $20,000 versus $10,000 on a system. The difference could be as little as, I don't know, let's just say, not to exaggerate, 5 cents. So be careful out there, and always remember your energy savings is based on your house. It is not based on the equipment. So common sense advice and help and guidance. Again, call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest, 314-293-2600. Again, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, that is bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Chris Ranchi, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX, and we are with Hancock and Kelly.
Here we are.
Just a quick Cardinals note.
Yes.
Remember Mason Wynn got into that car accident on 64, leaving the game the other day. It was a single car accident. So this is from Jeff Jones of the Belleville News Democrat, and he says that Mason Wynn said he was merging onto 40 on Wednesday afternoon with Dustin May ahead of him, Nolan Gorman behind him. He was trying to get right to get off at Jefferson. He hydroplaned, bounced off both barriers. Ooh. May saw it, called the trainers. Gorman called security, who called the cops. But Mason Wynn is okay. He's in the lineup today.
Oh, wow.
He's leading off.
He's very fortunate. Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see him out of the 4-hole.
Yeah.
And Jefferson is the beginning of Midtown, right?
More or less.
Yeah.
Because remember how I said
yeah.
I had no idea where this crash took place, but there's sections of 40 through Midtown that are so slick when it rains.
Yeah.
Every time. Like I've had this coming down from Blues games when it's just raining a little bit. And that technically is that stretch. I don't know what it is about that stretch.
It's the beginning of the elevation of both of
it could be the air passing underneath. I don't really know how this works. But in the photo of the car, which Mason
Didn't
Wynn,
look good.
Yeah, he put it out on Instagram, and the ballpark's right in the background. You can see it. So it was not far from Busch. But anyway, good that he's okay. He is in the lineup
Very
today.
fortunate.
So, yeah, that's great. You said you had an observation?
Well, the picture that we're facing today, there's so one of my heroes in life is Scott Joplin.
Yes, well, yeah,
And
Scott Joplin.
his publisher was a guy named John Stark. And John Stark had a son named Edelman, Etilmon, and he was the only person in the world named Edelman at the time.
ETI?
Yep, Etilmon.
Really?
Yeah, he was named Edelman. And so it got me thinking that perhaps the starter today for the Detroit Tigers might be the only person in the world whose first name is Framber.
Framber Valdez.
Have you ever known of another Framber?
I mean, John.
A-M-B-E-R. I think he may be the only Framber out there.
I don't know.
That's an astute observation.
Well, I know somebody
and
who's very pregnant could ruin that right away.
How hard would it be to find a name
Yeah.
that has never been a name before and name your kid that name?
You're right. I don't know. I mean, if you Google Framber, he's the only one that comes up.
I think Framber is the only Framber that's out there.
How do we find this out?
And if he goes missing, then they're going to have to put out a Framber alert for the guy. I'm telling you.
John, is this what we were working toward?
No, that just came to me, Ron. I'm making this up on the fly over here. All right. I'm done now, though. So go ahead and finish your little show.
Finish your little
That's all I got.
Michael?
I don't have anything to add. No. Are these
This is your
people still
partner.
listening, Chris?
He's the only Framber.
Which people? These people?
These people, the
Yeah,
listeners
these
that
people
you're
are-
talking about.
Yeah,
do these people still listen when we have little dad jokes like
Has
that?
anybody
These
sent a
people are
text
listening.
in today?
A
We haven't got
Framber
a single-
alert.
yeah.
Oof, you went a long way for that one, brother.
I wasn't even aiming for that.
Really?
That came
Yeah.
to me
See,
spontaneously.
I wasn't
neither-
able to prepare you guys because that was a new one. Because most of them that come at you, I've heard a couple.
I
of
just can't believe between Michael and Ranj, neither of you have dated a Framber. Because I feel like we could cover a lot of names.
I've seen her on
between the
stage
two of
number
you.
2.
Oh, my God.
What's stage number 2?
That was a bad joke.
It
It's
was a
not
bad joke.
Amy, do you not know what?
no.
Do you not know what he's referencing?
I don't
a strip
either.
club?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it here?
No,
No, it's just-
it's
it's
a
a-
joke.
it's a
like
common-
it's a throwaway line.
I had
go to
no
strip
idea.
clubs.
I had no idea what he
John,
Are
Nice.
there
Nice.
multiple stages at strip clubs?
I suppose sometimes there are.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys
John,
act like you don't.
have you never been to a strip club?
No, I've never been to a strip
You
club.
haven't?
No.
Michael, you have.
Well, yes, I'm a male and I went to college, but that's not my scene, and it's
Yeah.
not my scene for a reason I don't want to talk about on here. But I don't want to go and be
It's not mine
excited
either. I got to tell you, it's not
at
mine
that
either.
type of place.
I went to a. I'm not going to get into detail about it, but
Jeez,
a
it's
friend of mine
early.
How
got
do we get
married.
from Framber to this?
Well, you started it.
I guess
Framber
I
kind
did.
of sounds like it could be a lady.
I had a friend who got married in part of the bachelor party. We went to
Ditto.
one, and it was one of the filthy ones.
yeah.
And what they did to him, I'm like, okay, we are
Not
not. If I
happening.
ever get
Yeah.
married,
See?
we are not doing this for a bachelor party.
Called you or texted you because you know when the stripper comes to your house, like you hear about this for bachelor parties. How does she leave? Because it's the whole
No,
thing.
we went to a strip club.
No, but
we
if the
didn't have
stripper comes to your house, does she say, okay, thank you very much, then goes in the bathroom and puts on sweatpants and leaves? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's this whole ordeal. It must
So-
be very awkward and transactional once it's done. She puts on her jacket, takes the money. What happens? Is the
Yeah.
party over?
So
I've never been to a
Problem?
house that's had a stripper.
No, no.
I swear I haven't.
I've
You
been to a
lived with a
bar.
stripper.
I've been to a bar where this was a bachelor party.
Uh-huh.
There was a side room that you could rent out for a private party, and they hired a couple who came
Uh-huh.
in, and it was woof.
We had a great
It was-
we had a great stripper over at the place.
Really?
Yeah.
Here, this
Is
is
this
going to be a
about- it's about
joke. This
paint?
is going to be a
Is this
dad
about
joke.
paint?
Yeah, before
Yes,
the guy
go ahead.
painted the
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Was the
Bless
stripper's
America.
name Georgianne? I can see her out there peeling off the
I'll tell you
paint
that
for
We
you.
got this
That
5-foot
woman's
woman.
incredible. She's
Yeah, she's up
incredible.
there on the house. She's on the ladder.
She
She's
put the-
Bob Vila in female form.
She
I'm
just
telling
put
you.
the floors in at her dad's place.
You're-
She's amazing.
You're down there in the lawn looking up at her with your cup of coffee.
I'm
Going,
gonna get
I
her
think you
into
missed
a
the
union.
spot.
That's impressive.
I'm going to get her into
Yes.
the laborers.
That's a good idea.
She's good, man.
Local one.
She's good.
Yes, put her in the union.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll cut that crap out real quick, John.
I know it.
Have a good weekend, boys.
We're gonna
Happy
do it.
Easter, audio.
Let's beat Framber.
Hancock and Kelly with us. The Chris and Amy show rolls on KMOX.
Do you ever feel like people are mumbling more than they used to? Or maybe conversations at restaurants and family gatherings have gotten harder to follow? If this sounds familiar, it might be time to learn more about your hearing. That's why we're inviting you to a special lunch and learn at the Audiology Center. This event is on April 29th for various time slots. It's a relaxed and friendly gathering where our certified audiologists will talk about hearing and hearing loss, answer your questions, and share how today's hearing aids can help you connect with the moments that matter most. Hearing loss often happens slowly, and many people don't realize how much they're missing. It's important to know how untreated hearing loss can negatively affect you in the long term. It's a no-pressure event, just good conversation and good information, and lunch is on us. Seats are limited, so please call 636-441-7470 to reserve your spot for our free lunch and learn at the Audiology Center on April 29th. Take the first step towards hearing more clearly.
Springfest means more sun, more fun, and more free at Lowe's. Keep your yard in line with an additional free Ego 56-volt battery when you buy a select Ego mower, trimmer, or blower. Plus, keep landscaping fresh with Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil, 5 bags for $10. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is mostly cloudy right now at 10 o'clock, 71 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. A search and rescue effort underway for a downed U.S. F-15 fighter jet in southern Iran. It's not known how many crew were on board. Images posted on social media and verified by CBS News showed a refueling plane and 2 helicopters flying low over Khuzestan province, consistent with a search and rescue mission. Iranian state media claims to have shot down the plane. This, a day after the U.S. military denied a previous claim by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard to have downed an aircraft from the U.S. in a different area, and after the head of the U.S. Central Command said Iran's air and missile defense systems have largely been destroyed. Pope Leo celebrating his first season, Easter season, as pontiff. CBS's Chris Livesay tells us the words of the American Pope are more direct than his predecessors when it comes to global issues.
This week, imploring world leaders and President Trump by name to find an off-ramp to the war in Iran.
Hopefully he's looking for a way to decrease the amount of violence, of bombing, which would be a significant contribution to removing the hatred that's being created and that's increasing constantly in the Middle East and elsewhere.
A case of pet abuse gaining attention in St. Louis. Yesterday marked the first court hearing in the case, which charges a pet sitter with the abuse of a Yorkshire Terrier named Rosie, who died in November 2025. A video was played at yesterday's hearing that showed the sitter repeatedly slamming the Yorkie's head on the floor of the home while another dog watched.
I think that the way she opened the door while doing the abuse, that she thought that she was blocking the camera.
Rosie's owner, Eric Sanchez, telling Fox 2 the sitter left a condolence card. A nationwide children's hospital study found household cleaning products led to 240,000 childhood visits to emergency rooms between 2007 and 2022. Detergent packets like Tide Pods and bleach were the biggest causes of injuries due to children ingesting them, while spray bottles were associated with a close third of the injuries. From the KMOX business desk, a St. Louis woman accused of stealing more than $87,000 from a neighborhood homeowners association. 71-year-old Denise Williams was the treasurer of the Tiffany Community Association, which reported the money missing. Police say bank statements show numerous withdrawals between 2024 and 2025 at the River City Casino. They say Williams forged monthly financial reports to hide the fact she was stealing money. Charges for forgery and stealing were filed against Williams yesterday.
Times of sun and clouds, breezy, very warm and rather humid this afternoon, high 82. There can be a spotty thunderstorm late this afternoon and early tonight, followed by a drenching thunderstorm after midnight that can produce flooding downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts, and an isolated tornado. Tonight's low 55 to 59. A little rain early tomorrow. Otherwise, breezy, much cooler with plenty of clouds, temperature mainly in the 50s. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it is cloudy and 71 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Well, every Friday now on the Chris and Amy Show, we chat with someone from St. Louis Magazine, and they do a ton of great work there. The stories, the reporting, the investigative reporting. Love them. And today we get a twofer because we are chatting with two journalists, Alan Greenblatt and Samir Knox. And I'm going to welcome in Alan Greenblatt first, as we look at these stories about public transportation in St. Louis. Ron, you and I were talking about that, whether it was the Metrolink, buses. I know you wanted to bring back streetcars. Well, Alan Greenblatt.
Everywhere, not just in the loop.
Yes, not just in the loop, everywhere. Alan Greenblatt had a really interesting piece in St. Louis Magazine this week. He says, I drive for Uber and Lyft, and I'm doing the job buses used to do, meaning that Alan is driving people who spend thousands of dollars a year on Uber and Lyft just to do daily things like get to work. Alan, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, it's great to be with you. Thanks.
So I guess my first question is, how long have you been driving for a rideshare?
Not that long. I had kind of a career blip last fall, so it's only been a few months.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you could tell a difference or not, you know, in the increase in ridership from just daily riders. When I think of ride shares, I think of people going to the airport, people on vacation, but you're dealing with people just who live here, who are just trying to get to work.
Yeah, that was my assumption too, because, you know, I've used Uber and come home from bars and gone to the airport, and I figured that was kind of the main line of business, but it really is not at all. It really is mainly, at least in my experience, mainly a commuter service with particularly people in low income and mostly Black neighborhoods getting to and from their jobs.
And you talk to somebody who spends about 10 grand a year on Uber and Lyft, and it wasn't frivolous stuff. It was for the very reason that he was getting to and from work.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there was a young guy I happened to pick up at Children's Hospital, and he lived, you know, pretty far into North County, and he's working as a janitor at Children's, and he was actually pretty proud. He had gone from being a general janitor to cleaning up a particular clinic, and he had dreams of becoming a radiologist. And, you know, so he was really proud of his job, but the reality was it didn't pay enough. You know, once he paid for phone and rent and Wi-Fi and all the rest, he didn't have enough money to save up to buy a car. I mean, clearly, if he's spending 10 grand a year on Uber, that is enough to, you know, operate, maintain, fuel a car, but he just couldn't break into that.
So, as you mentioned, he was working as a janitor at the hospital, and he could take the Metrolink to North County, but then it would require a 4-hour layover at another station before he could catch a bus home. And so it just timing wise, our public transit between Metrolinks and buses was insufficient for him. And just,
yeah, right.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, you know, he got off shift at midnight. So, you know, clearly a lot of the public transit isn't running at that hour, but there are people working at that time. But in general, you know, I've asked lots and lots of people who, you know, I'm taking to a job at Shake Shack or McDonald's or to another health facility or whatever, don't buses come to your neighborhood? And almost always they say it's 2 hours. There's always a transfer. The transfer is a long wait. And so they'd rather spend $15 and get home in 15 minutes than spend 2 hours getting home after a long shift.
So
I would just say, and to that point, I've seen that personally when I worked retail at a strip mall that was across from a hospital. And every now and then when the weather was terrible, some of the people at the bus stop would ask if they could come in our store. And of course they could, but they waited 2 hours for their bus. And I saw them. I watched them wait.
How is it possible it's that long? It doesn't even seem right for public transit.
Well, like I said, a lot of times it involves a transfer. And if you have buses that are running once an hour, once half hour, and you don't make that connection, I mean, you're standing there, 40 minutes just waiting. Aside from, obviously buses take longer to get from point A to point B than just driving a car because they make all those stops and maybe have a winding route. So, the buses can be great. But yeah, sometimes they do take a long time.
And so do you think the city could do more in this way to help people out who just don't have the means to purchase a vehicle?
Well, I mean, that's why we have public transit, is to help people move around. And, it's not just the city, but the county as well. And I think it's true almost everywhere, any major city. The systems were designed for a different era when people were just getting downtown, and that's where the jobs were. And now the jobs are much more dispersed. And so you don't have the concentration of public transit lines out to, West County or someplace like that, where there might be, even major employers who are not served by transit.
That's a very good point. We were just talking about downtown and how there's not a whole lot going on and aren't as many businesses downtown as they're used to, which also means there isn't as much work downtown for the kind of people that we're talking about who need public transit. And you can get a bus downtown. I mean, that's not really a problem. So that's not something I thought about. But a person listening might say, well, if Terrence, the person you talked to who spent $10,000 on Uber per year, they'd say, well, if you're spending 10 grand a year, why not just buy a car? Because that's 10,000's a lot. Did Terrence or anybody else say why they did not purchase a car if they could spend that much per year?
Yeah. Again, it's just, you need, I guess you could get an unreliable old beater, but, any used car now is at least a few grand, right? So you have to have at least a down payment. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck, just getting the nut together to buy even a, rundown used car, it does require some savings. So if if your job is not a great paying job and you've got other bills, that seems to be the problem. It's sort of like, it's cheaper ultimately to own a house than rent, but you have to have a down payment to get in.
Alan Greenblatt, freelance journalist with STL Magazine. We appreciate you. Thanks for being with us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
And now we also visit with another St. Louis Magazine writer. Samir Knox joins the show, and there's a new micro transit service called Via, which is supposed to fill the gaps where buses don't run. And Samir is with us on KMOX. Good morning, Samir.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. And tell us more about what this service is.
Yeah, Via was kind of launched in a number of cities around the time of COVID as kind of like a publicly subsidized competitor to something like Uber that we just heard from Mr. Greenblatt about. And the idea is that it is a bit lower in scope and you travel around particular areas in a region. And in our case, it's relegated to North County, and you can move within North County, move within West County, a little track there, and then a kind of large V shape in South County. And those are identified by Bi-State and Metro as places where there isn't a lot of train or bus service. And so those are there instead of that. But there's some challenges there that we can get into, like it's difficult to, you basically have to take a bus to leave this little zone. But those are designed as something that costs $2 instead of maybe much, much more expensive Uber ride.
And these are like vans that pick people up to take them from point A to point B, as you mentioned, in that kind of triangle shape. Is it strategically set up to help people cut out those long wait times? We were just talking about buses. When you're transferring from one bus to another, you might have to wait 2 hours. Does it help with that at all or not really?
Well, I guess it would depend on what your use is. For the things that Mr. Greenblatt just described with this janitor that he was just talking about, I do not think it necessarily would. I think the best case they have for it is that you arrange for your ride to pick you up. And if you need to go somewhere in your little zone, then great, that's your $2 ride. But if you need to get to a train, you can go to one of these like little transit hubs they have all across the county, and you just got to sit there and wait just as well. But yeah.
There are some people, some politicians and locals who do not like this service. What don't they like about it?
Well, yeah. I spoke with Councilwoman Shalonda Webb of the St. Louis County Council, and she had a lot of very interesting things to say about, I guess, the way she thought it was rolled out. There was like a scaling back of a lot of bus service in her district, which is like kind of the furthest north part of the St. Louis County. And she felt like the county has been paying Bi-State, the organization that's above Metro, the same amount for years. And then they basically had this bus service that Bi-State decided to cut and put these cars that have some of the drawbacks we just mentioned instead, and never really came back with a bus line that serves the people that have the uses like Mr. Greenblatt described, that need to get to work or just want to get around the region.
Did they cut the buses to make VIA work economically?
I think my understanding of it, at least what I was told by Bi-State, is that I think it was kind of in reverse, basically, that bus lines were being cut as part of like broader reevaluation of where they serve. And I think they told me they didn't really see a need there just as much as it proved feasible to have that. And so VIA was kind of put there instead of it. And I guess Shalonda Webb told me it felt kind of like a bait and switch, like that was not what she felt that they were owed.
Well, you note in your story that in its first year, VIA hosted an average of 2,000 rides a month, but now it has 50 vehicles and average more than 25,000 rides a month. Is there any way to know if VIA is serving more people than the buses were?
That's a really good question. That I can't tell you right off the top of my head right now, but I think the sense is that with Ms. Webb and what I've heard from others is that does kind of show that there is, I think, a need for bus service, that there are people that want to use public transit, that want to spend less than it would cost to take an Uber to get to where they need to go. And to her, that kind of shows that maybe like Bi-State ought to bring those buses back.
We had the conversation on this show either earlier in the week or last week about public transit and whether or not is it a necessity for a city to have an established good public transit system to attract people to want to live here? Or do we need people to live here first before we have a good, robust public transit system? What do you think the answer is?
Well, that's a great, like, kind of chicken and egg question, I guess. I think the answer, I would have to say that I think if people, so long as there are people that live around here that need to get to and from work, I think that the people should follow, I guess, the transit. I know that I might be mixing the metaphors a little bit or something, but I guess my sense is that I think a robust transit system would make people move around the region in new ways and open up new places for people to live that they might not otherwise consider living at before. And I think that has a knock-on effect, not just to the people that live here already, but to attracting new people. I don't know if that answers your question directly, but that's kind of my feeling about it, is that we ought to do that, I think, as a matter of principle, whether or not we have people come into this region and staying here.
Samir, appreciate your time today and the reporting. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Our thanks to Samir Knox and Alan Greenblatt of St. Louis Magazine. And every Friday, we are going to be talking with somebody about one of the stories that they are doing, because as Amy mentioned, St. Louis Magazine. So it's really good. They do a lot of really good work there.
Yeah, absolutely. This
is a day that we give away something, not right now, but we are going to give away tickets because we've had text messages. We have folks on YouTube checking in. Hey, are you still giving away those Tom Papa tickets? Yeah, dog, we are. Not right now.
Yeah,
what did I just tell people? We're not giving them away right now.
Do not tell me they're calling in.
They're calling in already.
No, they cannot possibly be.
What did I just say?
Unbelievable.
These people don't listen.
These people.
You're listening, but you're not listening.
We love you.
We do love you. But pay attention.
It really exasperates Ranj.
Oh, my God.
For my sake.
I started by saying don't call now, but we are going to give away tickets for Tom Papa before the show is over. We are less than 1 hour away from Cardinals pregame. Cardinals play the Tigers today at 12:10. Pregame show at 11:15 on KMOX.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. So when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
I never thought of myself as the type to settle down. Never knew where the team's next lunch was coming from. But then I met you, Easy Cater.
Workplaces everywhere are saying, I do want delicious food at work. And they're ordering from beloved restaurants with Easy Cater.
You were reliable. You had great options for every budget, even when marketing ops did keto again. We got through that together. With you, it's just so easy. Easy Cater, will you keep showing up at my workplace forever?
Find love at first lunch. Order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's already April. Maybe you're planning to have some get-togethers, a graduation party, Father's Day cookout, who knows? But is your outdoor space ready? Maybe you never got around to all those improvements you had been planning. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. And whether you're looking for a new deck or a patio, a pergola, a sunroom, a screen room, or all of the above and then some, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can make the magic happen because they have 58 years of experience and they have thousands of satisfied customers, and they offer real value because when you spend the money, you get a project that is going to last for years to come. They only ever use the highest quality materials. They have their own installation crews. That's important because those crews have years of experience. If you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 20% off your next outdoor project. Give them a call, stop by, or they'll come to you. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best, chesterfieldfence.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Bringing a data center online takes more than equipment. It takes precision. Graybar helps customers predict, stage, schedule, deliver, and verify every step of the build with critical products that are available now. From networking and wireless to critical power and testing tools, our teams help you reduce downtime risk and keep projects on track. Speed, scale, ready now. Yep, Graybar does that.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. The American dream is owning your own home, especially a brand new McKelvey home. This will be your last chance to take advantage of the tremendous savings of the 6 remaining market-ready homes or our luxurious Madison display at Summerlin and O'Fallon. Also get special 4.99% fixed 30-year financing. Talk to Stephen Bonfani on how you can qualify for this great offer. Visit McKelveyHomes.com. It's time to move up to McKelvey.
Proudly serving St. Louis for over 100 years. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Trying to save the day.
No, baby, the NCAA tournament has reached the Final Four, and we are there also. That's right. The Chris and Amy Show and the Barch Madness Tournament as we continue our search for the best bar in the St. Louis area. We are down to the Frosty Four, baby. That's right. This has been a hell of a tournament.
It really is. I'm looking as the votes come in, just so our listeners know, Matthew, when does the voting end for the Frosty
morning.
So
Monday morning.
Yeah, you've got
8:30, 9 o'clock.
Oh, great. You've got through the weekend to vote for your favorite bars remaining in our Barch Madness tournament. And we have our champion of the Eberhard-Anheuser region. It is the number 1 seed McGurk's, which is facing Humphreys, the 5 seed. Humphreys, the 5 seed on the SLU campus, has had a nice little run here, and they are off to the Final Four. And Humphreys won the Adolphus Busch region.
Mm-hmm.
In the William J. Lemp region, it is Amsterdam Tavern, the 1 seed. They're taking on also a 1 seed, O.B. Clark's. O.B. Clark's is the winner of the Anton Griesedick region.
Have one question.
Yes.
Are people livid?
I don't know if they're mad.
Then we haven't done our job. To be honest, if people aren't livid, we haven't done our job.
So there are people on Twitter who are responding, and that's where you have to go. At Chris Amy KMOX on Twitter, or X, whatever you call it.
Because if you go to at Chris Amy KMOX on the gram, on Instagram, it will draw you back to Twitter.
It'll take you back to Twitter.
But you can see us there,
Right.
and then you click on it.
You see the bracket.
Yep.
You see who's in, then you go and vote. And there are some responses. This one says Milo's being knocked out in the Elite 8 hurts. Yeah, Milo's was knocked out in the Inebriate. Linus here says Filoni's is 10 times better than Milo's. What a joke of a bracket. Village at 13, Village Bar at 13. Well, if they were better, then they should have won.
Yeah.
Should have
Did you
voted for
vote?
him.
Did you vote?
Quit crabbing about it if you're not going to vote, Linus, you dork.
Yes, you need to vote.
And this person says, how the F was Par Bar a 13 seed?
Because it needed to be higher or lower?
I'm assuming they think it should be better than that. And I like Par. I completely disagree.
Yeah.
Completely disagree. But it is a good spot.
We need you to vote at Chris Amy KMOX.
It's pinned to the top. You'll see the bracket.
Yeah.
It's right there. If
Then
you can't find it, then you've got a problem.
Then you click on it, and you can see on the thread, it's so easy to vote. And the votes are starting to add up, and we have some close contests. And I'm telling you, either contest, McGurk's and Humphreys and Amsterdam Tavern and O.B. Clark's,
Intriguing.
could swing. They're swinging back and forth.
Now, Amsterdam Tavern, they're doing a little lobbying for themselves, and they're going to be that's going to be a tough matchup because right now they barely have a lead over O.B. Clark's.
Yeah.
And really what this comes down to is the soccer bar versus the hockey bar.
That's exactly right.
So is Amsterdam the well-known soccer bar versus O.B. Clark's the well-known hockey bar? Who's better? Is it the soccer crowd or is it the hockey crowd?
I mean, I think it's closer than people might think.
I don't know,
But
man.
I don't know. I'm not seeing a ton of... I think these bars need to start lobbying for themselves. At some point, you got to speak up and say, hey, we want this.
Yeah.
We want this.
That's right. That's right. You better get on it.
Again, and if I will say this, you know how we keep telling the listeners, if you are mad, this is your vote. You have no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah,
Kind of
dude.
feel the same about the bars. If you're mad, if you're not out there lobbying, you have no one to blame but yourself.
Well, if there's anything I know, it's that these people don't listen. So I specifically told them we're giving away tickets, but not right now. And they started calling anyway.
If this Barch Madness were to take place next year, do you know there's a brand new bar that I know would win? Chris's Loser Lounge.
Oh, Chris's Loser Lounge,
Yeah.
which is where we're going to hold our campaign rally when I begin my well, I guess I've technically already begun my candidacy for mayor of Granite City.
Yes, because...
So we're going to hold it at Chris's Loser Lounge.
Yes.
Because I have decided my new platform for mayor of Granite City is I am surrounding myself only with losers because it makes me look better.
And yes, it's
Because,
true.
and I learned it from the president because that's what he said.
And the mayor
He's-
of Granite, and the mayor of Granite City threw some shade at you
He
the
did.
other
He
day.
threw some shade
And
at
so
me.
Ranj, also in line with the president, has decided to run for the mayor's office.
Yeah, just out of spite.
Yeah.
I am following the President Trump playbook to
Unbelievable.
a T.
Hang out with losers.
He was slighted during the correspondence dinner 15 years ago. And he said, "Oh, yeah, I'll show you. I'll run for president." This is according to Roger Stone and Michael Cohen, former associates of his. And so I'm running out of spite.
Yeah.
And also, I am surrounding myself with losers like the president earlier this week said he is doing, surrounding himself with losers.
Let's see if it's a winning formula for you.
And don't get mad at me. This is what he said he was doing.
Yes.
He said it.
He said it makes him feel better about himself.
Right.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to be around people listening to them talk about their success. He wants people to hear about his success.
Yep.
He literally said that. So I'm doing it. I think it's a great way to go, great way to live. And so Chris's Loser Lounge, I don't know where we're going to establish the bar, but.
Soulard, probably.
Yeah, but I need to establish something over in Illinois. I'm running for mayor in Granite City.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah. Is it a problem that I don't live there? Uh-oh. I need to look at the rules. You're
going to have a birther controversy.
Oh, no. My birth certificate does say Granite City on it. So take that. When we come back, we are going to talk soccer. Jen Cease is with us every Friday. She's a broadcaster for City SC on Y98. They got a game against New York City FC tomorrow. We'll talk to Jen when we come back on KMOX.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. You know, there are real things to talk about. I am amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. And I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. And for a limited time this April, we're offering something we rarely do. Exclusive incentives designed to help you get more from your new home. From a free finished recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades to flexible perks like design credits or closing cost savings, there's an opportunity waiting for you. But these offers are available in select communities and only for a short time. Visit LombardoHomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Variable clouds with a straight thunderstorm today. It's 74 right now. A high today
What
of
does
83.
variable clouds mean?
What it means is when you look outside
They're
and
different?
it's cloudy but also kind of
Who
sunny.
cares?
Well, tonight you should care. Heavy thunderstorms late.
Now
Could
that's
bring
important information.
flooding, downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts, and an isolated tornado. So be on the lookout for that. A low of
Variable
55.
tornadoes?
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin.
We're starting a program here in the upper GI space called PREVENT. That's the acronym, and it's really aimed at trying to detect these cancers early and even to kind of, reverse them and understand kind of the science behind why they form.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu. You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at LedermanLaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
This afternoon, the Cards, the Tigers.
Cameron Total Access 11:15. First pitch 12:10.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX. City SC has a game against New York City. New York City FC tomorrow, 6:30. City SC is on the road, and it's City versus City. And hopefully those announcers are nicer than the Mets announcers were to the city of St. Louis. We talked to Jen Cease, who is a broadcaster on Y98, and she is with us now on KMOX. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, you guys.
Hey, so are they going to win tomorrow, or?
I'd like to have that winning streak, the streak of one. I'd like to have that winning streak continue to a streak of two. That's a fun stat to always report. But yeah, they're heading into a team right now that is pretty hot. They've got 13 goals in 5 games. They are not afraid to score. They're not afraid to be direct. Yet another team, by the way, that has kind of changed its playing style. Seems like a lot of teams are doing that in the MLS, and they are going to be an aggressive attacking team, and City's going to have to bring what they did with New England over there and do it in front of a hostile crowd.
So with that style of play, who's been able to shine on the pitch for City SC?
You know, for me, it is, well, one of the guys who's shown, I thought last time, is the guy who just went out on injury, ACL. That's Celio Pompeu. Really, God, it's so unfortunate for him. It happened like that kind of last time he got hurt. It was before the Miami game. He was ready to face off with Messi. I will say he did strip Lionel Messi of the ball at least twice before he went out and on his ankle injury. So I feel so bad for Celio. It seems like just as he's getting in and figuring out how to be in a new lineup, in a new system, he gets hurt, and this time it's ACL. So for me, I thought Celio Pompeu showed a lot of effort there. And on the pitch for the rest of the team, we're going to be looking at Marcel Hartl, of course, the DP. I know everybody got excited about seeing Edward Leuven at training on Monday. He is not roster ready, so we will not see him on the pitch. But we've got to look at finding ways of finding Marcel Hartl to combine with whoever's going to be out there with him, whether it's Song Bin on the right now, or if Cedric Teuchert is available. I'm not sure that he is at this point in time. And really work with those wingers. Conrad Valm and Rafael Santos have to start to be able to produce more, whether they're serving it in or they're receiving it in from on the weak side.
When is Leuven expected to be back?
You know, they, as always, they haven't given us any particular timeline. Now, for Edu, the good part is it's not from injury, right? So we're not looking at that as far as time and a half is what Dale Schilly would always tell us. You're looking for the time you got injured and a half more to kind of come back as a general rule. But for Edward Leuven, of course, he was going through something much worse than that with the loss of his wife. I don't know how much training he did or was able to do to keep his body fit. But the sheer fact that Yoann Damet doesn't yet want to put him on the pitch just says he's really not ready to probably go at least a good 20 or more. You want to have more, at least a half if you can. So I would think that it would probably take Edward Leuven these 3 away trips to possibly be ready. And it would be great to see him debut for the season back here at home.
How has Roman Bürki looked so far this year?
Well, he looks great. Roman Bürki with he's like a cat. He's like a really tall cat. His cat-like reflexes. I understand that his rapport with his backline this year has quite improved from previous years, where maybe Roman was a little bit more frustrated with the backline. He and Timo Baumgartel have played against each other before, by the way. If you ever ask Timo about playing Roman Bürki, he will remind you of the time that his team beat Roman. All these guys will always remember. They'll remember the day, the time. They probably don't remember to put their underwear away, but they do remember the day and the time they beat a current teammate that was a former opponent. So he and Roman, Timo calls himself an old man. Roman's older than him. So I guess the old men are leading the back line and really working together. So Roman looks great. His distribution looks great as always. And it's just a matter of, can he keep connected with that back line to make sure that they stay solid and really work for that clean sheet. Yohanna talked about having a clean sheet mentality this week. Let them not score any on the board. That's a good one.
Okay, so in hockey, right, a goalie will face easily 25, 35, even 40 shots in a game, and they play night after night. They're playing 3 or 4 times a week. And so it's pretty easy to assess with all of those shots how sharp a goalie is. I say this because the Blues goaltending really struggled this season. They did not look good. Then they pulled it together, and they've been, especially Joel Hofer, the Blues goalie, has been the best in the league since the Olympic break. In soccer, is there a different metric when you're facing fewer shots, so you don't even have a larger sample size of good angle shots versus bad angle shots that they're letting in or saving? Are there different metrics that you look at to see how sharp a goalie is? Or do you just have to wait until he's got a ton of games under his belt?
Yeah, I would actually look at probably the one that people are going to point to as the stat that's called XG. It's just expected goals. And then when you take a look, if you follow the feed on MLS, let's say your team is playing, you follow the feed, they will put that in there of, so-and-so took a shot and it had an XG, meaning it was an expected goal of whatever percent. Higher percent, of course, that's a better number. So Roman pretty much consistently saved not only those ones that come right to his hands, which everybody gets excited about, but it's like, it came right to his hands, he should catch that. He is able to save those other ones that have an expected goal percentage of very much higher. So you're talking about those that are maybe direct headers off a corner kick that are right there on the 6-yard line, or the ones that he, crazily somehow saves from just going in the inside post. Those are some of the ones that you look at. So Roman still ranks among the higher goalkeepers in the MLS in being able to do that so far.
Jen, what is a weird thing, an idiosyncrasy that soccer players generally have? Because I think each sport has the general weirdo, where you could tell like, oh, that guy's a baseball player or that guy's a hockey player. What is it about soccer players?
Well, they're still different. So goalkeepers, of course, are different. No one touches Roman's gloves except for Roman. I wouldn't be surprised if the other goalkeepers are the same way. But if you watch him walk out and, hold the hand of the cute little kid who's so excited to hold his hand, there is no touching of those goalkeeper gloves until after the game's over. He's happy to give them away. When it comes to the field players, they're all so different. Some of them will have routines that go up before the game. Some of them will go up to the touch line, the sideline. Maybe we talked about that last week, the touch line before, and maybe touch on the touch line and step over. But I would say a lot of it has to do with the way they put on their kit or their uniform, if you will. One leg versus the other, shin guard first, sock first, cleat next, boots, if you prefer, and kind of the way they prep with that. So I see that more than I see anything else. And maybe once you get going with your team, who do you high five on the way down? But I feel like it's pretty much general. I think the goalkeepers are pretty special in that category.
Did you have any weirdo stuff for yourself?
Yeah, there was a time when I would put one shin guard on first and the other. I do remember a game where I had come off a previous game and I had scored a really good goal and I forgot and I put my shin guards on the other way. So I took them back off and I put them out, but it didn't work and I didn't score a goal that game. So there you go.
So then you learned pretty quickly that the superstition is dumb.
Yes, that it's really just it's your mental thing. So if it, there's a funny thing. If it works for you mentally, I had worked with she's a D1 soccer player now, who had such a rigid routine that I really got worried about it. She would wear a certain thing to hold her hair back on practice day, and a certain kind of thing to hold her hair back on game day, and the way she taped and the way she put on or took off her earrings if she had them on. And I got to a point where I was just like, that's super cool if it works, but what are you going to do if you don't have that color of thing to put in your hair? And so we had to work on a backup plan for that. But that was probably the most rigid system I'd ever seen for a player.
But to your point, if it works, I've always said, like with racing, if wearing a purple elephant hat I thought would make me run faster, I'm doing it because so much of sports is mental, is confidence, that 100% I'll do the placebo if I believe it works.
Yeah, and the team themselves will do their routine. So when they go, they're going to have a 3-game away stretch, right, where we're going to have a little bit of rhythm when it comes. Road trips are hard, but we're going to have a little bit of rhythm when it comes to, we're not coming back in front of the crowd at Energizer Park with different training days and those kinds of things. So they're really going to find a rhythm. And I think you'll find on the few trips I have been with the team that there's, they go out for a walk at a certain time. They do these activations at a certain time. They watch video at a certain time. So the team itself does have some flexibility, but there's some stuff that's rather rigid and non-negotiable, and it's not just getting to the pitch on time.
So, Jen, as we say goodbye here and City SC is getting ready to play in New York tomorrow, we know that they're near the bottom of the table at the moment. They are third from the bottom in the West. What do you feel like you need to see from them over the next month or maybe month and a half to feel like they're moving in the right direction? Is it as simple as wins, or is it a certain style of play you're looking for? What exactly is it?
Yeah, I would say what I'm feeling at this moment, a little bit with Yoann Damet, talking with him, feels, don't everybody get mad, feels a little like talking with Olaf Melberg last year in terms of just hearing that, hey, I like the way I see things are playing out. We just haven't had the results yet. Well, if you guys remember from last year, it took too long to get those results. So it didn't matter what an interim head coach did to come in because City was way too far behind the point. So that is my biggest concern. So I would say take what we do with New England. And if Yoann Damet is not that happy with this last game in terms of consistency and we won the game, well, fix the inconsistencies and then go forward. And we also need to find, I think, who really those guys are going to be, once again, kind of finding that consistency in the lineup. So I think consistency is the biggest thing for City in how we structure our defense, who's going to be across that middle, and who's going to lead the attack in terms of then how we approach the game. So for me, it's still the same mantra as last year: consistency in lineup, consistency in the way we play, and then being clinical in front of goal and finishing it out just like we did at New England.
I don't think anybody was ever truly mad at Olaf. Guy's handsome.
He is too handsome. We said it must have been really hard to fire him.
Yeah.
He's an attractive man. He was, I will say he was a pleasure. He was a pleasure to interview. He's always very professional, but it was kind of sometimes those disconnects
distracting.
A little. He really got icy blue eyes. Very Nordic.
Like
and the beard and
I
the
could
hair.
just picture them like in the
jealous.
front office trying to like pump themselves up. No, when he walks in, don't get distracted.
Don't look at him. Don't look directly
at
at
him.
him.
My AC down now, guys. My air conditioning's got to go down. Stop it.
Olaf, it's so good to see you.
I'm sorry we have to let you go. Maybe not. Thanks, Jen.
And we're not talking about the snowman.
Thanks, Jen.
That's right.
Thanks, guys.
Jen C., City SC broadcaster. You can hear her on the call tomorrow, Y98, 6:30, City SC and New York City FC. That'll be right there on Y98. Go get a win for us, would you?
People forgot you had a huge crush on Olaf.
Oh, that man's handsome. I'm so jealous of the hair and the beard and the look. Why can't I be good looking? I'm handsome too. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Well, things are really heating up in the tournament, and FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up to the big championship game. Build a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Or if you've never done it before or have even, and you'd like to try it again, live betting. You can jump in after tip-off has already happened. Best of all, with FanDuel, if you win, you're going to get paid instantly, and that is a great deal. FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. Just go there. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going from now till the big championship game, which is upon us. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you're carrying a lot of credit card or personal loan debt, every month can start to feel the same. All those bills, all those due dates, all that stress. There's a solution that's designed to make it easier for you. National Debt Relief could put you on the fast track to paying off your credit card debt, personal loans, and even medical debt for less than you owe, with just one low monthly payment you can afford. And no, it's not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. It's a real, affordable debt relief program that could save you lots of money. National Debt Relief has already helped over 1 million people with their debt and has thousands of 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. So if you owe $10,000 or more, don't wait. Call 800-300-4411 now to see if you qualify. That's 800-300-4411. One call could help reduce what you owe and simplify your monthly payments. Call 800-300-4411 now to find out how much you could save.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They're in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Well, Ron, you know how much I love Switzerland.
Yes.
And I want to go back to Switzerland and visit my buddy Flavio. Was
Okay.
thinking of doing that. Guess who's not doing that? Probably me and a lot of Americans, because travel is getting super expensive thanks
No, you
to the
don't say.
Strait of Hormuz. Delta said that jet fuel costs ballooned by $400 million in March alone. Alaska Air, American, and United have the same warnings. Average, okay, so if you're thinking of booking a flight and if you're like me, you think about it for like weeks and sometimes months, and you pull up the app and you type in your dates to see how much it would cost. Well, if you didn't pull the trigger already, it's a no good. Average global airfares jumped 24% to $465 on the week beginning March 9th compared with the same time last year. Transatlantic flight tickets 20 days out already cost $200 more on average than they did a month ago. That's on average, which means these are jumping up. United said it's cutting 5% of its flights in off-peak periods during the next 2 quarters to offset rising expenses. So what does that mean? It means that the share of Americans planning international trips over the next 6 months has fallen to 17%, the lowest it's been since 2022.
My Lord, man. Everything is so expensive. Everything. And it's that is a trip overseas, and it's always going to be more expensive, obviously.
And I will say they do seem wild. Like the prices go up and down and up and down. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not even really the major issue. The major issue is the day-to-day.
Yeah.
Right? How much everything is. It's like, can you get anything for cheap now?
You can't. And I will say, if you're someone who, like, okay, I'll fly to Denver, but I really want it to start with a 2. You know how we do this? Like, I wanted to start with a 2. It's starting with a 4 and a 5 lately. And I'm not doing that. I can drive. If I am not paying $500 to fly to Denver.
Well, Amy, as you know, Artemis 2 is on its way to the moon.
Hey.
It is expected to arrive on Monday. It'll get to moon's orbit. It's going to do a little, flyby, and then it'll come right back home. They're not going to land or anything. But as you can expect, anytime a rocket or a space shuttle leaves Earth, there's going to be an issue. And have you seen, or did you see, that they've had problems with their bathroom?
Okay, so I saw the headline. What exactly is going on?
Okay, the Universal Waste Management System, which is the toilet on the Orion capsule. And have you seen it? Like, actually seen the...
I haven't seen the toilet.
It's because there's zero gravity, it doesn't really matter what the orientation is, but it's in the floor. Okay, so it's a door. You open the door, and then if there was gravity, you'd be laying on your side, and there's a toilet, and then you shut the door and whatever. So the system is supposed to vent pee-pee into space.
Yeah.
And then it holds on to the poo-poo until they get back. Well, there was an issue with the toilet, and they have collapsible contingency urinals to collect the pee-pee if there is a problem. But they noticed pretty soon after takeoff that there was a problem with the toilet.
That's gross. I've also heard that it's harder to go because without gravity, so much of your body processes, your processes in your body are reliant or just are used to gravity.
Yeah. Well,
it's like your eyes don't water. So your eyes will fill up with tears and you can't see, and the tears never come out.
Oh, that's interesting.
If you try to cry in space. So don't cry in space.
Crying in space.
There's no crying in space. I did just watch a clip of Tom Hanks in A League of Their Own. The whole "There's no crying in baseball." My goodness, that is a genius scene. It's so good.
Yeah, it's very good. Also, they're having trouble with Microsoft Outlook. They were unable to send emails.
They run Outlook.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, that's the first problem.
They're sending emails from space.
I mean, this company is something else. But we switched on from Outlook. We go to Gmail at least. We've moved to Gmail.
I love Gmail. But NASA spokesperson Gary Jordan said that Christina Cook, I believe is how you pronounce her name. She's one of the, she's the only woman aboard the 10-day mission. She says the toilet fan is reported to be jammed. The toilet fan.
Ugh.
Yeah, you can't have that.
Can they fix it?
They better. You can be in that tight. You have to hold it until you get back. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk to Scott Warman, who is hosting Cardinals pregame coverage today. We've got afternoon baseball, 12:15 first pitch. Pregame show is 11:15. We're going to talk to Scott when we come back. Getting ready for Cardinals baseball today on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All hail Spamalot, the Tony Award-winning best musical comedy that will have you laughing your coconuts off. The Washington Post declares Monty Python's Spamalot is the funniest musical on Broadway. Entertainment Weekly calls it a hilarious fun fest. The Washington Post says it's unfair to laugh this much. Get your tickets now for the musical comedy event of the year, Spamalot, playing the Fabulous Fox May 5th through 17th. Tickets at fabulousfox.com.
Liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. So when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
For 100 years, KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis, informing, entertaining, and connecting our community. Now, relive a century of service at KMOX100.com, a website that allows you to explore classic KMOX audio, rare photos and video, and the legendary voices that shaped St. Louis. Every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat lives on at KMOX100.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
That old car can cost money, and it may be time to move on.
You know, nobody likes to put a lot of money into repairs in their car.
John McElroy of Autoline.tv says costly repairs to old cars can be a bargain next to the expense of buying a new or used car. If you're on the fence, he says, get a ruling from a trustworthy mechanic.
You may have to lay out a couple of $100, but it may be very wisely spent.
I'm Rob Hart.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 11 o'clock, and right now we have mostly cloudy skies, 74 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. U.S. officials now confirming that an American F-15 fighter jet has gone down in Iran, and a search is underway for the crew. Iranian state-run television is showing images of what it claims is wreckage of the missing plane and says the government is offering a reward for the recovery of any Americans. Senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata.
The F-15 Strike Eagle fighter jet can be a one-seater or two-seater variant. So the number of crew involved is still unclear. A statement on Iranian television urging residents to join the hunt for the pilot or pilots, offering a bounty for any U.S. service members dead or alive.
This is the first confirmed loss of a U.S. jet in Iran since the war began more than a month ago. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer in Jerusalem tells us that a European-flagged container has successfully transited the Strait of Hormuz.
It appears with Iranian permission that a fully laden French container ship did go through the straits in the last 24 hours. That would be the first vessel owned by a major Western shipping line to have been allowed to pass.
Palmer also tells us the Iranians say they're not going to allow any ships through the strait if they contain cargo that would benefit their enemies. A Downtown West nightclub may lose its license to stay open until 3 a.m. Neighbors of Europe nightclub on 15th Street by City Museum testified during a City Excise Division hearing yesterday that the club fuels violence with shooting, fights, and trash and loitering. A property owner nearby said police presence in the area has been non-existent, and at times 911 didn't respond to calls from club patrons in emergency situations. Downtown Forward's Lisa Kaiser called the nightclub a detriment to the community. From the KMOX business desk, a huge event coming to St. Louis this month, and they need your help. The VEX Robotics World Championship is coming to America Center April 21st through the 30th, and thousands of volunteers are needed. The Robotics Education and Competition Foundation is a partner in the event that welcomes competitors from all 50 states and 60 countries.
Their success wouldn't be possible without the help of volunteers stepping into these roles.
There are opportunities for young people as well as adults. No robotics or STEM experience is necessary. You can get more at recf.org. Taking a look at the forecast.
This afternoon will be breezy, very warm and rather humid with clouds and sun and a high of 82. There could be a thunderstorm late this afternoon, early tonight in parts of the area. That'll be followed by a drenching thunderstorm across the entire area after midnight that can produce flooding downpours, even hail and damaging wind gusts, perhaps an isolated tornado. Tonight's low 55 to 59. For tomorrow, a bit of rain early, otherwise breezy and much cooler with lots of clouds, temperatures mostly in the 50s. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 74 with a little bit of sunshine coming through the clouds. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And the Cardinal Report is brought to you by Rawlings. Visit the Rawlings experience at Westport. It'll be Michael McGreevy, the starter today. He was really good his first time out. Scoreless outing. He's got the Tigers today. Cardinals are on the road. Pre-game show is coming up in 12 minutes. Make that 11 minutes from this very moment. And then we will have Cardinals baseball at 12:10. Scott Warman joins the Chris and Amy Show. Scott's got pregame coverage. You just want to go ahead and do the pregame?
Nervous. Oh, my God.
You're nervous with us?
What are we going to talk about?
Hey, real quick, before I get to you, we have tickets to give away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
To where?
Well, it's not to a place. Well, kind of. The Factory.
Yeah.
September
That's a nice
25th.
place. You ever been there?
I have not been to the Factory.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, my
dude,
God.
I was trying to tell you yesterday or 2 days ago, the Smile played there.
Okay.
2 years ago, and I should have gone. The Smile's got Tom York and Jimmy Greenwood from Radiohead.
You didn't go?
I didn't. Whatever.
You are Chris's Loser Lounge.
I am a stupid idiot.
Come on, Roger. Let's get it together.
Comedian Tom Papa will be there September 25th, and that is at the Factory thanks to Live Nation, and we have a pair of tickets to give away right now to caller number
5.
5. You didn't give me a number, so I was going to make
Why
it my
5?
own.
You looked at me.
Yeah, 5. Caller
for
5.
Albert Pujols.
For Albert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He made his debut yesterday.
Yesterday, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, was his major league debut.
Here's a question for you.
Oh, so hold on. 314-955-1120.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Caller 5. Good luck.
Here's a question for you. I was having this discussion with my mother. She lives with me now because of her health situation. And we were seeing the promo about, Cardinals Hall of Fame vote on cardinals.com/HOF, I believe it is. And you got Yachty, you've got George Hendrick, Brian Jordan, and Yachty. So if you had a choice between Albert or Yachty, which one would you pick?
If you could only do
what?
one.
To just have on your team?
Your vote to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
If you had one choice,
Feel
would
like-
it be Yachty or would it be
I think
Albert?
you have to do Albert.
Yeah.
So Mom said Yachty because Yachty didn't leave the Cardinals.
Yeah, I get that.
That's
And I
water
think
over
it's
the dam now. But
I
I'm
think
saying
that's a perfectly good argument. I would just say
you can't lose on the deal. I mean, let's be honest.
No,
Both going to be baseball Hall of Famers.
If I have to pick one, it's because Albert has been a first ballot Hall of Famer for 15 years already.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And he had his best years here in St. Louis.
Absolutely.
So I don't.
But
I mean, he's the better player. I mean, they're different, but he's
No
just a better
question.
player.
But if I had to vote on sentimental value, I personally would pick Yachty.
Okay.
I think Yachty
If
could own
Albert-
St. Louis. If he wanted to be the king of St. Louis, he could be.
The other part of it is Albert doesn't come back for that final season. Does that a person that's making that decision, does that waiver their decision because Albert didn't come back and finish up?
Well, that's another good point. I don't know.
I'm curious.
Maybe.
Honestly, I think it's actually an
I
interesting
probably
discussion.
not. I probably not. I think it's already established at that point.
I mean, there was a lot of people that were really ticked off.
Yeah, but I
Albert
can't,
left.
and I get
I mean,
it.
I know it's a long time ago, but
It's just I can't blame him for taking what was more money at
No.
the time, and pretty much
But
everybody
that is a
would.
good point. I mean, I do feel like time can make you forget how mad you were about things and you get over it. And then you just remember the good times with Albert. But him coming back probably did win over a few fans who thought, who think that way, who feel like, hey, he left us.
maybe not the first 3 months of the season when even Albert admitted he was thinking about retiring because things were going so bad. And then, of course,
And Ollie said, I don't know if Ollie said this, but Ollie talked him into staying.
Yeah.
Which is, hey, so you have Ollie Marmol. If you hate Ollie Marmol, you got to think for that.
Right.
I mean,
keep Albert for those
right.
final 3 months, and everybody got to relive the first 10 years of his incredible career.
So, Scott, what do you think of the first, couple of series the
I
Cardinals?
mean,
have
you
had?
have to like it, obviously. I think one of the things that I think, all of us growing up here and rooting for the Cardinals is even if your team is not going to be that good, and that's what the predictions are, if you go out there and you give out 110%, as we always say, fans are going to be jumping on the bandwagon. And I know Mason Wynn told us, the Claibs, after the game yesterday, hey, we're just fighting for each other, essentially paraphrasing what he said.
Yeah.
And I think you got to like it. You got to like a young team that's spunky, that's going out there, and they're just like, hey, we have nothing to lose here. And obviously the spark has been J.J. Weatherholt, obviously in his first 6 games. It's all small sample size, but I really enjoy what I've seen so far.
And by the way, I mentioned this earlier. Mason Wynn is in the lineup. He's leading off today. And this was after his car accident on Wednesday. He's okay.
After the game, yeah.
After the game. So he's playing. He's in. He's good to go. And we hope for a win today.
Absolutely.
Hey, Scott, go get him.
All right. Have a good weekend.
We have to get out of here because we have to get to you.
Don't mess this up,
Yeah,
Scott.
dude.
I will. Don't worry.
Do you have any idea what will happen if you do mess this up?
I'll get fired. Again.
No.
You don't even work here.
No.
That's what makes it so difficult.
You'll be in serious trouble, though.
Oh, boy.
Scott Warman. He is hosting pregame coverage here on KMOX. If you missed anything on the show today, well, what's your problem? Where you been? But the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcast, go back and listen to any of the interviews, the segments, the full show, whatever you want. Podcast form, it's all there for you. We will be back on Monday at 9 a.m. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Have a good Easter weekend.